Previously on the SMITE Console League.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us here at the SMITE Console League. My name is Finch, and I know it's been a while, but it's time to have some console action. PS4, Xbox, NAEU, we're covering all of it.
And a lot of these teams definitely looking to try and climb their way up those standings, Finch, but it's not going to be an easy feat by any means.
I am surprised.
A little bit surprised, too.
I'm a little bit surprised because that's a 4,000, 5,000 goal. Everything was going wrong.
Sure.
So perhaps you look towards the future and say, well, if we don't have it now, we won't have it. But that seems to be a shorter lead than I would have liked to see a team retire. Today, we've got more European action. It's going to be Hive versus Rival.
They only dropped one game thus far in their 5-0 streak, so they're looking very clean and up against Hive Central. On paper, you expect the black and purple to really come out with a victory today.
Normally, I think there might be a little bit more analysis at the end here, but I think it all kind of just factors back to one very important starting point. Just take advantage of your bans.
I'm right there with you. Waldron, for what it's worth, I think won the matchup. Just was not anywhere near enough for them to win the game. So that will do it in Rival's favor. But we have plenty more console coming your way. It'll be North America on the other side of this brick. Nemesis, remember, we're far and away the best team in Phase 1. I don't think they lost even a set that entire phase. Now here struggling already with 2 set losses.
27 kills in 27 minutes. A good 2-0 from Nemesis. This is what we were expecting from Nemesis in the beginning of Phase 2.
Like dynamite. We're ready to blow this one up. Fourth matchup of the day. What are we looking forward to here?
I think Hype Unit is obviously the talking point against a Sanguine today. Should be a lot of fireworks. I'm looking at the jungle. I'm looking at layers.
This is who we generally look at. Hype Unit has been on top for a long time.
Hype Unit kind of just recognized the fact that Strider Prime a little bit tankier than that on her would be, so they're going to have to give up on that last pick for a clean decisive finish, but the message is still all the same.
Fantastic stuff. Unfortunately for Sanguine, could not stand up and grab it. Top of the top are providing exactly what is required to bring their wins home.
It's Monday, everybody, which means we're starting your weeks off right with the SMITE Console League. My name is Finch. I'd like to thank you for joining us here today, and I've got right here on the desk with me, Anatoly Alexeyanok, helping me break everything down so we can put everything in the right context for everybody out there. We're going to be looking at a good set to start things off with. We're in PS4 EU, MV3 versus VGSGods.
The 8th week of competition. Top of the seeds. Well, not top of the seeds, but in the middle of the pack right now versus the bottom. MV3 struggling a little bit. VGS trying to climb the standings to qualify to that HRX placements.
That's a good point that you make. VGSGods are still relatively close, so I'm right there with you. MV3, on the other hand, have had some struggles. But this should be surprising to everybody out there. PS4 EU was not like this last year. I'm not saying Outcole was 5 games ahead by any means, but they were definitely the top team. It wasn't much in doubt that they were going to be the representatives, that they were the bar that you were measuring yourself against. Starting to look like this region is caught up a little bit.
And it's hard because MV3 doesn't make it easy to find the victories over them. Between 3 of their players, I'm looking specifically at Jhox, Albmighty, and RayoMid, they control the number 7 through 9 spot in all of the kills category. So even though they are losing their games, they're making it difficult for their opposition.
Well, there you go. Active players trying to do their best to get their team some wins. Let's see if today will be the day as we move into the picks and bans. MV3 in the first spot. VGS will be rounding it out. And console, I think, has started to catch up to that PC meta. A lot of the times console lags behind. Initially, they weren't doing the split with the supports roaming the map, but I think we are starting to see more and more of that now, even in PS4 EU. So I wouldn't be surprised if this looks pretty close in terms of like the overall meta to what you're used to from like SPL.
Some teams are adapting to that. Between these two, though, I don't expect MV3 to take that course of action right now. They're almost actually eliminated from even qualifying to the HRX placements. Only a few more weeks of competition remain for all of these teams, and for them, they have to keep true to their identity to be able to get them to the best possible position for Season 7.
And it's been tough, man. I really don't think that they've even been able to keep this team constantly together throughout it. The ones you mentioned, like OhMyJhox, like Jox, these players have been there on this team for a while now, but there are some members that have to keep coming kind of in and out, and I wonder if that is affecting some of their consistency on a week-to-week basis. But they pick a consistent hunter in this Ullr, and if you're looking for pressure, Ullr certainly gives you that. But first pick overall, a bit surprising.
It just goes to show that MV3 are not interested in following that meta, right? Their first pick in the Ullr to get OhMyJhox Beast the most comfortable matchup, or it could be in the mid as well for RayoMid, depending who is going to be for VGS on the other side of the battlefield.
Yeah, so this is where I'm confused. Is it just the Ullr deviation? Because Khepri, Zhong, these are all other picks you'd want. Susano maybe not quite as valuable nowadays, but I think he's certainly still plenty strong. So, I mean, for the most part, it seems like they're right there with him, except for this Ullr thing. I'm going to be scratching my head a little bit unless it really pops off in this game. They're going to add the Olorun to it, and Sanctified Field, man, that's just the biggest cooldown on the map for me.
You definitely need those in-handers paired up with the basic attacker, so Ullr will fit that bill. I think that there's a lot of objective control from MV3. If they get off to a great early start, they could sneak in some fast Gold Furies.
They've got a chance for that. VGSGods taking a bit of an eye towards the jungle now with this Hoon Bots ban. I'm actually a bit surprised. They've already got this Geb on lock. Maybe they didn't want that to get a little bit too punished in the early game by the Fear No Evils and maybe some surprise rotations. So they take that one away. Along with the Guan Yu, which I don't know, might also be a bit of another jungle ban if they've been watching some of Layers' performances here recently. They might want to limit that from the jungle too.
There's just a lot of disruption between those two bans that they did, so they want to keep their team fighting at the most optimal setting, and I think with consistent damage from the Zhong and the Susano, that's the best bans you could probably do.
Susano can be interrupted, and that really does interrupt a lot of what he wants to do, so I'm right there with you in that regard. Osiris comes through for VGSGods, but Erlang Shen getting 8th picked into the Bellona. So Bellona long lane, Erlang Shen jungle with a Khepri support, Ullr, Olorun. I imagine Ullr mid and Olorun long lane for you.
It seems that way, you would expect, and I love this Bellona pick because we haven't seen it in a long time, and there was still another hunter for VGSGods to select, and it doesn't matter who it is because that Scourge will disable the basic attacks.
Exactly, no matter how much faster they're supposed to be with the Heavenly Banner, doesn't do you any good if you're disarmed. I do wonder though, I mean, you don't super rely on the bludgeon damage, but I mean, there are some decent tools it feels like to interrupt this Bellona, the Zhong, the Susano, the Geb, and maybe there could be some limit on the value there for that Bellona, but we'll find out once these picks get into the action. Game number 1 starting now.
Thanks so much, gents on the desk. Joining me for the broadcast this morning is going to be the one and only Ryan Aggro Bailey, and we're off to a quick start with Rayo in the mid, would you believe, playing the Ullr here. Ullr first pick is not something I was expecting to see, and I'm not expecting to see a bead so early on in the duo lane too. We're off to a nice, fantastically speedy start.
What is this? We've got a duo lane in the duo lane to kick us off. This good old-fashioned smite over here in the long lane. I'm down with this.
We saw a little bit of it in the SPL too last week, where it started to happen a little bit more often. Not to the extent the expectance going to be the way. True, not at level 1. Especially with Olorun and a Zhong too. I mean, there's not really kill potential, I feel like, for either of these comps outside of massive misplays.
I mean, Albmighty can end up pulling someone in, and if you already took minion aggro before that, like right now, if he had that abduct, then maybe not kill potential, but certainly good poke potential.
Yeah.
Either way, no, I don't expect a whole lot of kill action in this lane, but it looks like MV3 is going to get the better end of the clear.
Going to be a little bit careful. It's still only level 1 though for Albmighty right now as he keeps the pressure on. And obviously with a little bit of a tick damage, it'll be good poke, but not enough to swing home about at the moment. Purple buffs are available, and there's no invade available on that side for the time being, but VGSGods going to secure their own red in the mid lane with Drizzle, which is matched up with a Hachiman in that lane. Interesting to see the Hachi in the mid lane this time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Zhong, you want to get that farm. That's why we see him over there in the long lane at the SPL level, but if you're not doing that strat where you're leaving him alone, I don't really see a whole lot of the point.
Oh, caught in the jungle a little bit there, and an easy pickup for Drizzle. Just pulls him on in, and the damage from that, well, you can still see it's pretty high. I think Susano definitely is one of these characters that's been a little bit sleeper as of late, but starting to see a rise in play again.
I completely agree with you. He just brings everything you want. He can kill your back line, he can CC your front line, he can move around the map very quickly, great mobility. Everything that Assassin wants to do, Susano can do very well. It's just that usually it takes a little bit of time to ramp up. Hosiel ends up kind of gifting Drizzle a good start there by walking into the jungle at such low HP and setting him up for great success. As soon as Drizzle hits level 7 or so, once you max Storm Kata is where I feel like Susano really starts to begin his ascent towards the top end of Assassins. Once you've maxed your Jetstream and your Stormkata, and you've got a couple points in Typhoon, level 15 to 17, you feel like you're nearly unstoppable.
You saw the pressure onto Marquis from Alb there. Wasn't going to be enough to find a kill at all. The sustain from a Zhong just too potent to break through and find a kill. With how the standings have been for these two teams, though, MV3 kind of stuck at the bottom, really not really a chance for qualification to the World Championships. Whereas VGSGods, they're still in amongst it. The cat amongst the pigeons to an extent. They could definitely be a party pooper for one of the two top teams, or even sneak on through themselves if things fall their way.
No doubt. I mean, this is still a very competitive region. You can't really take anything for granted.
He's wishing for some beads right about now, but he will get away. The knock-up coming through there from Hack. He did give a bit of a window, but I don't think Drizzle was aware of it. Now he's going to get pinned and rooted, but with a shield from Geb, the pressure's onto the Khepri, and he has to abduct back to safety as the red buff is looked to be invaded by VGS.
Wind Siphon's up in time, but good 72 transformations knock-up gets Osiris out of danger. A lot of time wasted here, though, by VGSGods. They've got to pay attention to the prize, which is this red buff.
And still pressure on that red buff at the moment as the defense from MV3 is semi there. They just run out of abilities to really poke from distance. RayoMid will clear out that wave, however, and force VGSGods back to their side of the jungle. But the invade was successful. However, if you look at the gold differential with VGS getting that first blood, it's not much of a difference. It shows that MV3 are doing a good job of farming here.
Seems like neutral camps are going a little bit more MV3's way. You've got an Ullr and an Erlang Shen. Those two characters are much better at confirming early buffs and fighting than the Susano Hachiman combo. It's just that VGSGods got off to that first blood start, sent Osiris a little bit behind, and that's why these red buff invades, the one at least, has been successful. But mid camps do still make a big difference. When you see these little differences in golden XP, a lot of times it's down to that or the Totem of Ku. MV3 seem to be getting a handle on both of those, as all three Totem of Ku so far have gone the way of OhMyJhox.
Another power spike for Rayo in this mid lane then, as he's got his Transcendence online and happy to box out against the Geb and the Hachiman too. But on the left-hand side, it's Marky Sparky, who's not so sparky right about now. He's under pressure, but a very good little card onto O there. Going to prevent him from doing anything. However, can he land it is the question. No, he'll hit the wall.
Does not go through walls, but good trade. I mean, you didn't get beads out from Marky Sparky, and the fact that now that Sanctified Field is on cooldown without using his Purification beads means that Beast is now really behind on solo potential, at least until that ultimate comes back up.
There's just a little bit of a tick advantage from Marky and his ultimate coming back up, as the abducting mid was good, but it didn't get him away from the Cataclysm. Shockwave after the fact is there, and Drizzle with the Tornado to pick up the kill. Way to keep going there after that pin, but couldn't find the pick onto Osiris. Now Rail getting pressured as well, as Drizzle's starting to really find his form a little bit here, looking to poke in and out consistently.
Susano is one of those characters, when you get a lead, it is very difficult to fight against, as Osiris tries to find him with that initiation, but a little bit off the mark.
Tell you what, it was close, but now Drizzle going to pressure Rail back towards the tier 1. And with that Ullr first pick, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't look for a few more options to try and put pressure on with him not having a CC immune ultimate. You know, Ares was technically up. They opted for the Geb, Dargy too. There's a few that could really cause problems for an Ullr.
Agreed. That being said, I mean, Susano is still a pretty good matchup into the Ullr.
He leaps away, you got Jetstream on him.
Exactly. You can follow him up and over the wall. Certainly not a bad matchup, but it's not the dominant ones like a Dodgy or an Ares pick for sure.
Oh, hi is under pressure again. Good poke damage out from Marky, who came back after his little push back under his tier 1, his close death earlier on. And now he's being punished for it because he walked back into the lane. However, Khepri's on the way, and Khepri can't get there in time, unfortunately. Albmighty was trying to make it. He just didn't have the angle. His teammate ran away from him.
Needs another set of legs if he wants to get there fast enough. They're just a little bit too slow, and that's where the Olorun, like I said, if you don't get that solo kill with the Sanctified Field right off the bat, you're in some trouble right away. Marky Sparky backs, gets full cooldown boots. He's so strong. His poke potential's great. And you can't be leveling Consecration, the heal for Olorun at this point in the game. I've seen a lot of players start to max at second right after the 1, and I do think that's probably right because it does give you a lot of sustain.
Was someone doing it first?
No, you can't clear the wave if you...
Oh, were people doing it first is what I was asking.
No, I don't think it's possible to do it first. You've got to go with the 1 to clear the wave, and then I think maxing the 3 is probably correct. You're basically just using your 2 as your attack speed stem, and you can afford to make your attack speed stem level up a little bit later. It's not too much of a detriment.
VGSGods then up 3 kills so far. Gold leads about 500 to 600 gold as Jose trying to clear out some wards in his jungle. Good notice of those wall placed. A good cataclysm though from Hack. Haki, and Alb is under pressure, and he tries to abduct away, but instead he just pulls in a big rock. That's going to force him to ultimate, but look how low that Hachi's getting. He's not low enough to not get a kill, however. OhMyBeast with a big field that's causing problems, but now he's trying to buy a bit of time to get away from Drizzle. Good body blocks coming out of Jose there to prevent that, but Marky Sparky did pick up Rayo, who's trying to wrap around the back, and now the ghosts are here, and Jose low on mana, just looking for his transformations, won't get an opportunity. Good picks there for VGSGods.
Man, Beast nearly saves that whole engagement with a really good Sanctified field, and they do end up losing their mid laner Eclipsed, but still, at the end of the day, just that Zhong presence for Marky Sparky just a little bit too strong. Drizzle gets another good ultimate off in that fight, and the fact that he's able to escape as well as bait Hosil into chasing him for too long, which ends up with Marky Sparky getting another cleanup kill.
A little bit surprised they didn't look for a Gold Fury there after that, because they had an opportunity to go for it. They had 3 members and pretty high health pools. Could have slowly whittled that down without really a chance for MV3 to respond there. So small window missed from VGSGods.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Haki's probably going to have to tank it in that instance. You don't have a ton of consistent DPS with Eclipse being on the respawn, so maybe they were a little bit worried that RayoMid would respawn and walk on over and cause some problems, but I agree.
Bevy monster. Gonna get the pressure on here to JhoX, but JhoX gonna be fine under his tier 1 for now. Still had the Eagles rally available if it was required there. Just in case of the up-down, it's definitely a matchup of ultimates that's all about who holds theirs till second. Can be really impactful as Haki takes a bit of pressure there in the mid lane. Nothing worse than having to shield yourself as a Geb, but sometimes it's just required.
Especially when you've got an Ullr with a red buff staring you down at this point in the game. I mean, RayoMid, despite taking that spill, still up on XP over Eclipse right now, and is still at one of the strongest points of the game for Ullr. You are very strong as Ullr from as soon as you finish your Transcendence, basically, up until you've maxed your 1 year thing.
Oh, pressure onto Jose, who's trying to get away with the turtle as quick as he can, and Drizzle just missed it. Great axe from Rain at the same time to make sure he couldn't continue the follow-up, and now he's JhoX under pressure. He rotated into support, but he may need to just continue running. These Eagles rally down. Unfortunate state of affairs. It's now Rayo being pressured in the mid lane. Great pull from Drizzle. He's out of abilities though, needs some help, and Al being there will dissuade him. And Jose back in action with an ultimate. Good little pressure onto Haki. Juked out, but the bad news is his VGS was still chasing him down. He did ring around the roses, and the team came through.
Man, Bevy up and over, nearly found Albmighty with that ultimate, but still just a little bit too short. Really good bait there by Haki, and Hosil clearly a little bit over-aggressive on this Erlang Shen pick. That's a couple times now where he has been kept on the line when he really should have been disengaging fights and ends up losing his life for it.
Do VGSGods actually use VGS?
I'd hope not.
It's a bit wrong if they do,
for the most part.
Or they don't, rather. I mean, you can't call yourself someone and not do it, right?
Well, they could just be really good at it. They just don't want to do it right now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can 360 dunk a basketball. I just don't want to.
I would pay to see you do that.
Don't want to.
You sure?
Yeah, don't feel like it.
Is it not an amount that I could offer that would allow that to happen?
Probably not, no. I just don't feel like it, man. I don't know. Stop asking me.
Oh, okay, sorry. It was just twice I asked, but, you know.
I said I didn't want to do it.
Okay, that's okay. Oracle's coming up now, and RayoMid's going to be around here. No Gold Fury's down in this game so far, but it's definitely something that MV3 need to pay attention to, so no surprise to see them head over there now and just get a bit of vision for themselves for a moment or two. If they do lose a Gold Fury, I think it's starting to get out of hand where MV3 are going to struggle to get back in. But now Beast with the field, going to put the pressure on Marky, but Marky sensed the danger a little bit early, a little bit telegraphed there by Beast. Great abduct, however, no mana for Marky. Enough, however, to get his ultimate off, but will give him bonus protections, and that'll be good enough for MV3 here.
And he holds on to the beats, so you're choosing which one I want to use there. He's got 30% CDR, use the ult.
Jump in from the Hachiman, pressure in as the Cataclysm hits too. Bit of a split target difference, however, from VGSGods, so they don't really find anybody. Alb's the lowest member, and a good blink taunt as well comes in from Jose. 2 kills for MV3, but on the back of this, Drizzle did pick up Alb, and now he's looking for more, but he's in a 3v1. This is a risky play from him, and Ray's threading the needle with some of those basics, and that'll be another kill in the coffers of MV3.
I'm starting to understand why MV3 goes as first pick Ullr mid. I mean, Rayo is really putting the damage, top of the player damage charts right now. This Gold Fury calls risky. Here comes Marky. He's got blink.
Really risky though, maybe? Oh, you got his blink. Oh, Marky's not going to go for it. Didn't have vision, I guess, for the most part. You're shocked by that, Ryan? What's up?
He's level 12.
So he
He's huge. Yeah, I mean, you don't have your ultimate, but still,
Did
man.
He know?
I'm getting in there, 100%. You see, I mean, you just have to use your game sense. You don't know the HP of the Gold Fury, sure. But you know how long it took them to kill your member in the long lane. how long it's going to take them to walk over, what their general DPS is between those 3 characters, you should know that it's going to be low walking in there. And is it risky? Could Marky Sparky end up blinking in, insta-dying? Sure. There's also a world where he gets a set of beads and a kill and ends up dying. There's a realistic situation where he gets a kill, doesn't get the Gold Fury, but lives. I mean, that is I can't be too upset with him. I mean, yes, he's 3-0. He's level 12 at the time, so there would have been a pretty big bounty on him. So it's a risky play, but I'm not playing Zhong to not blink in on 3 backliners when I see the opportunity.
Mentioned RayoMid earlier on for the Transcenders, now fully stacked alongside ECLPTX in the mid lane as well, who's the same way. But he's gone for Morningstar again. Where's this build going? Is it going to be an Assy or something?
Hydras, I bet.
Hydras,
yep.
the new Hydras.
Yeah, so I've been watching Scream play a lot of Ullr jungle with Hydras as of late. Because he's just screaming it up out there. But it can be pretty good, probably.
Jose could be in pressure here, trying to use his ult to survive, but anti-heal's into play. Couldn't juke it out, and he'll go down too. Rayo was trying to get involved as Alb's trying to cut off the retreat, but there's 3 members there. And that's a little old Khepri on his own. He might need to ult himself, and will do so. Wasted ultimate. Now he's surrounded. And that was pretty good StarCraft play there from the boys of VGSGods as they get themselves another kill.
Axe is good, but shield is better from Hacky, and this should be a Pyromancer, though. Jox is full HP and has Eagle's Rally ready to go.
Can Box do something with this? Let's find out. From round the back comes the Bellona 2. Eagle's Rally towards the tail end wasn't good enough to secure it, unfortunately, and now Jox has to run away. Remember, the Eagle's Rally down. These slows are going to cause him more problems. Picked apart, and Drizzle might be able to come around and pick up the pieces here, and will do just that. Meanwhile, Rayo has to lead back towards mid, but Marky's there with a good blink, and the all-in combo's too much for Rayo to handle. Marky will solo him down. Still, though, he had support from Hacky if required. A couple of minions in the mid lane will allow them to chip down that tier 1 tower, but at least OhMyJhox does manage to get a tier 1 in left because of the rotation.
I mean, at that point, you have to just take what you can get on this left-hand side, see if you can invade a buff or something like that, but now with ECLPTX on the way over, might be better to just let this purple go and not end up getting caught.
So tell me a little bit more about the Hydras then, the changes and why we're going to start seeing it more often on like the likes of Ullr.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's an every game sort of thing, but think of it this way. You are guaranteed to get a Hydras proc off an Axe stun. You can go Axe, switch stance, auto 3, auto 1, auto, and that's 3 Hydras procs and they're dead. I think the argument against it is that they're dead if you hit that full combo anyways. And this doesn't bring you a whole lot of other stats that you care a whole lot about. The CDR's fine, but I'd rather have attack speed or pen or more power. 40 power isn't great, but you're getting the big boost, of course, on the proc itself, but that's not going to help your regular abilities the rest of the time. It's okay.
Beads forced on OhMyJhox as he took more pressure, and the Aegis too. The ghosts are out, and Marky's really punishing, but the field comes into play, as does the ultimate from Alb on the Khepri, and it's Marky who bit off more than he could chew. Was it really bait, or was it just a good rotation from the team?
Yeah, that was bait from Beast. He turns around and starts fighting him once the relics are down, and that kind of lures Marky Sparky into the fight.
Nice pull at the tail end from Drizzle there, just to make sure OhMyJhox is trapped in this. Or sorry, OhMyJhox is trapped in this. He's done a good job juking though, in the perfect time for Jose to blink in and turn this around. Might be able to get him a kill, but I don't think we had to see Jox stay around there. By him doing that, he kind of got himself killed for no reason. Now Drizzle gonna slip the noose for a second, and with the Geb turning up, Hacky with a good shield just to prevent Jose from continuing. Round the back come 2 more members of MV3, however, though, and this could be another additional fight.
RayoMid blinked in and cleaned up Drizzle underneath that tower, but now is in a bad spot. Shield down, or jump down and blink down. No ultimate from Mighty.
Times like this, you'd like an Aegis, but still, Rayo's got a bit of peel from him from Alb there. It's going to prevent it. That rollout will continue, however. The chase is still going on through the jungle, looking for a potential pick. All the while, though, tier 2 on the left-hand side did end up falling down there. Not exactly sure how. Is that just, he couldn't have just been minions. I guess OhMyJhox got there?
Yeah, Beast must have done it himself, and there's where that extra 10% CDR from Hydras looks pretty decent. Rayo's able to jump in aggressively underneath that tower while blink in, jump out, and then still be able to get out in the end. So not all bad so far for this Ullr, that's for sure. Still top of his team in player damage, only behind Bevy Monster right now overall. What is I don't know if I should be asking this, but what is a bevy?
A bevy's a drink.
Okay.
Generally an alcoholic drink.
Ah, I understand
for the most
now.
part. Let's go out for some bevies.
Gotcha. And he's a monster when it comes to that.
Yeah, or he could be just drinking monsters. I don't know. Like, you know, it could be one of those plays. A quick pause coming out from JhoX here, 15-7. But the gold lead, funny enough, is actually in MV3's favor.
Yeah,
surprising.
It's those two towers on the left-hand side that really make the difference. I mean, you get a tier 1 and a tier 2 over there. And it's actually great timing because the Fury's about to come up. So you've got a ton of map pressure available to you. Now your fight is much stronger because you can push them back, and VGSGods don't really have an area to run to.
I'm just looking at the experience as well. It's kind of even across the board. A couple of advantages for VGS towards the right-hand side of the map, but the left-hand side, bit of a different story here.
I mean, this is a good spot for MV3 to be in for sure, but Albmighty does need to be careful.
Yeah, he does.
Bevy Monster's chasing him down.
Nothing worse than being chased down by a good old Bevy, that's for sure. Pressure in, good cataclysm from Haki. Now Alp surrounded and being pinched off again. Look at ECLPTX mid, just covering the option in case it's needed to bring him down. It'll at least get the ult out. Alp with a lot of investment. Great ult from Jose, however. And the chase on for ECLPTX, he went all the way back for the kill. Now he's trapped in the field, but got a very good shield. OhMyJhox is on the way. Eagles rally will take down the Hachi. Haki did at least get the kill onto It's Beast. And now there's still pressure onto Marky.
Albmighty does have a little bit of help, and it's actually able to dash away from that Typhoon.
Still
Shell
juking.
still up, and
Let's
Albmighty is clean and clear.
Oh, VGSGods really starting to slip up a few times now, giving MV3 a chance back into this one. And with Rayo on the front line here, this Fury could be an opportunity now for MV3 if they see it.
I agree. I think this is a great opportunity for MV3. A little worried about the health bars, but they've got enough damage. Look at these Hydra's autos coming through from RayoMid. That's big objective damage.
Still, you can just see JhoX on the backside there, just making sure he zones him away. Good little play from him, actually, not to be involved in that. Going back to the actual Hydras here, is crit an option with that Hydras and someone like Ullr? I think it could be, right?
So I was going to say, I don't like the Jotuns at all to get you to max CDR. Why not go Bellona in that slot?
You
get your crit and your CDR.
Disagree on Ullr.
Listen,
I don't think it really works as well on Ullr.
It doesn't. The passive proc isn't that good, but look at it as just stats.
Just crit and just, yeah, true.
Just
okay,
stats.
That's fair.
It's better than the Jotuns in this instance. Now he's got no pen up until that point, which is obviously not ideal.
I wasn't even thinking about the cooldown for the most part. I was just thinking just crit with a Hydras on something like Ullr would be very beneficial because you're doing 50% extra damage on your next attack, and then it crits.
Yep.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, I think that if you're going to go with this build, I would really like Failnaught instead of Jotuns, Titans being in that 5th slot, and then Deathbringer 6th, I think is the way you want to do it. Maybe against the Geb, you're a little bit de-incentivized to go with that sort of route. But
he's only got one shield.
Hit everyone else.
He's only got one shield. Don't worry so much about it. Sure, Geb might not be the target to bring down like that, but you've got a couple of mages in the background like Beast, but Beast is under pressure from Drizzle right now. Has to use the field defensively on himself. Great action. Rayo, though, did hit Haki. Not a prime target. Neither is that Eagles rally, but it's whittling down their health bars of the VGSGods. In comes Marky, though, and the Ghosts are in play, but the Ghosts aren't doing as much as you bargained for. Still, though, you can see the pressure from Bevy Monster trying to hit him with that tether, which reduces damage, remember. The fight is awkward, but it's going the way of MV3. Triple kill for JhoX. Looking for the Quadra at the tail end. Will they give it him? No, Jose says, you've had enough, my friend. 3's enough on that stage, and now the Fire Giant looms for MV3.
This is the MV3 that we saw a lot of in Phase 1. I mean, just a big play right there, and able to make a comeback. Just the experience, I think, shining through a little bit. Overall, the team fight really clumped up, but again, it was kind of hacky being a little bit alone, and the initiations from VGSGods have not been great so far. It's been a lot of focus onto Albmighty, and that's exactly where MV3 wants you to dump all their abilities. They want you to use everything on this Khepri. There's been a lot of focus on him, a little bit too much, I think. VGSGods need to be a little bit more worried about this, I don't know, Ullr with no Aegis.
The way Jose's been playing the Erlang in the jungle, though, I feel like it would have been better to have an assassin, potentially. He's playing very late in these fights. He's looking for big clumps of groups, which some of the assassins that are available are very good at dealing with them, a little bit more so than someone that's Erlang, who's going to just run at a single target, burst them down, keep the pressure.
I agree.
I feel like it's a window, you know?
There's been a couple missed ultimates for sure, which is always concerning on Erlang Shen. You need to be hitting those, but then he hit the big 4-man ult in mid. I mean, so there's a bit of give and take. You're just kind of trusting that between the Ullr and the Olorun, there's going to be enough damage off your CC that you won't need to bring all that extra damage. And so far, that has been the case. It's just a matter of if it's going to stay that way for the rest of the game. as Ullr is starting to reach the point where he's not quite as strong.
Rayo trying to rotate around as Johnson Alb pressure the tier 1. That goes down quickly. Fire giant buff, remember, so it does allow them to bring down these towers just a little bit quicker and continue the regen. Rayo on the rotation, still on an Ullr. Not something you normally see here, but he's got the confidence to continue that with Jose going in alongside Jox. Jose gets the kill on Marky, and that's a big damage dealer down in the Zhong. Next to follow that will be Drizzle alongside his teammate Hacky, and only Ecliptic's alive, but the Aegis will only last for a moment or two as Jox will bring him down with the bludgeon. And last but not least, it's Bevy Monster. You could do with a Bevy after that one. Game 1 going to go into the books for MV3. Surrender vote started, and surprisingly, the bottom of the league just won a game.
They played it very well. I mean, this is, like I said, MV3, we saw glimpses of that in Phase 1. That's why I said that's kind of what I'm expecting to see more of in Phase 2. We hadn't up until this point. That was an impressive victory, and it goes to show that you probably shouldn't be giving RayoMid the Ullr. He made a ton of plays that game and was playing in a different style. I mean, you don't expect in a competitive game to see the Ullr out blink, to wrap around the back of your tier 2 and stun your backliner, but clearly very confident on that pick. And if I'm on VGSGods, I'm just saying, let's ban the Ullr and find something else to do.
So definitely one of those games to show as well that kills don't mean everything. Gold leads can be produced elsewhere.
Yep.
Sure, you can get kills early game, but you got to capitalize and find windows to find the victory. A couple of times in the red buff area as well, the Gold Fury was an option for them at certain times, but they never went for it.
Agreed, and Drizzle got off to such a good start on that Susano, wasn't able to keep it going. I just don't think that they put enough pressure onto this Ullr in the early to mid game. I think that it's not just Ullr exclusive, it's a lot of these early game gods. You're like, oh, well, we shouldn't fight him. This is when he's strong. But you still, I mean, you've got a good matchup in the Susano. You're ahead. Play aggressive in that lane and try and send him behind, and maybe that would have been a VGSGods win.
One game so far for MV3, but it is a best of 3, so we'll find out after the break if VGS can come back.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the SMITE Console League.
It's been a close battle here in PS4 EU across the entire phase, and apparently that's still happening, even here within their individual matchups. You might have thought VGSGods were the ones that are going to come up with an advantage, but MV3 certainly looked strong from where I was sitting to help me break it down. We've got Anatoly Alexeyev right here next to me. What stood out for you here in this matchup?
I think it was once the mid-game team fights came around. Jose on the Erlang Shen made some good plays. Albmighty on this Khepri doing a fantastic job, saving his Olorun Hunter on several occasions is what allowed MV3 to slowly crawl their way back out, if I can say that correctly.
Sure.
I was like, crawl or claw? And then
Sure, they got there. They clawed their way in.
Yeah.
And as you said, sure, I think that it is fair to note that OhMyJhox Beast had some pretty nutty sanctified fields, but as you mentioned, he was kind of put into that position by his team playing really well around him, by Jose on this Erlang Shen fighting some pretty sick initiations in some of these fights. Almighty as well, keeping him alive.
And another big stat to point out was RayoMid being a part of 18 of his team's 19 kills. We were talking about behind the scenes how this game is going to be dictated off of the Ullr mid.
Yes, very likely it's going to be swingy one way or the other, and it will involve this Ullr in the middle lane. That's exactly how this one went down. I mean, for the most part, I felt like VGSGods are relatively close, kind of early within this game, but kind of as you mentioned, that mid game, I mean, there are a couple of wipes in favor of MV3, and things got out of control basically in a hurry. And Olorun feels so good, I feel like, when you're the team that's playing with momentum.
It's also good about punishing teams that are overextending. That's kind of what VGS were feeling confident about, because in the past history between these two teams, VGS won 2 of their matchups in both weeks 1 and in week 6 without even dropping a single game. So they had a lot of confidence going into this one. They had about a 2,000 goal lead at the 15-minute mark, but that's when they got a little bit too overconfident and started to slip up.
Yes, and I was worried about Marky Sparky on this Zhong for MV3. Like, I had a high expectation for Marky Sparky on this Zhong, but he never kind of gotten to that point. Zhong benefits so much when he's able to farm up, get way ahead of basically everyone on the map, a couple of levels, an item and a half or so, and I don't think Marky Sparky ever got to that point here in this game.
Unfortunately not. A lot of his damage was negated because of this Khepri, the Rising Dawn, doing a lot of work to mitigate that damage, and the Scarab's Blessing reviving those targets that they were trying to isolate.
Yeah, making things difficult for them as we move into the picks and bans now for game number 2. VGSGods in the first pick position here yet again. MV3 will be the ones responding on the back end, and this might be a bit surprising to you all out there watching that VGSGods are a bit on the back foot here so far in this set. We'll see what adjustments they look to make. As Kronos and Thor bans, that's just pretty much, you want to ban that against everybody. Those gods are very good.
I agree with you there, and I don't think that VGSGods are going to change too much of their own draft. I think they're just playstyle should change a little bit. More cautious to watch out for clumping up too much against Jose that got that sick 4-man ultimate, knocking up 3 players, chasing down the Hachiman. It was a great team fight to really win off of the back.
And I like Hachiman right now. I just don't know if I necessarily think of him as one of those mid hunters, right? You think of like Onhers in that spots and Chirons, and then Ullrs like we saw on the other side, but not normally this Hachiman. I don't think that was necessarily the problem for them that he was there, but I mean, I feel like if you are going to go hunter mid, you want to do something that gets a little bit more pressure.
I agree. Well, speaking of pressure, Muzen
yes, that's very good at that. Yes.
One of the most pressure outside of the Ullr, of course. So I think this is a good start to VGS to try to get back into this best of 3 set.
I'm thinking so too, man. This clear speed from an Muzen comp is out of control. So it's a very strong tool for VGSGods to have picked up. MV3, on the other hand, going to be moving over to the Olorun Bellona. So this Bellona, man, this is clearly something that they like over there for Jhox in that solo lane. They're picking it up here again.
Hard to really beat Bellona just straight up because of the sustain that she gets from that Scourge. You're able to even proc off that 3rd hit on to the Totem of Kusa. Whenever there are those battles for that objective, Bellona usually comes out on top.
Totally. We were doing a playtest recently, and my Bellona caught the hands from you in lane, if I recall correctly. So,
oh, yeah.
So Bellona can lose some matchups. We can't tell y'all too much about that one, but totally still got it, by the way, if y'all are wondering out there. It was not easy. Hell, no big did for VGSGods along with the Geb. I actually really like this Hell pick. I'm a little bit worried about it this early. That gives a lot of time for MV3 to potentially look for counter picks. Remember, on console, Odin is just a monster, even without a Hell on the opposite side. So that leaves some room for that to be picked up if it's not banned. VGSGods with their heads in the same spot by taking that one away.
There's still some options for MV3 to go for more anti-healing. With the Bacchus on top of maybe a Medusa for mid, they could still run the Olorun in the long lane. You get an ability hunter like Medusa, you still got that Lacerate for 50% anti-healing. A little risky to dash in aggressively, but when there's a Hell, sometimes some risks must be made.
That's right. I mean, but if you make it to the late game with an Muzen Cobb and then a Hell and a Geb, you're in a great spot. This Geb's going to make sure everyone stays alive. It's going to be even harder to kill them through all this healing. I think that's why this box is coming through for some anti-heal, obviously, on the Belch. And then Ravana gives them a ton of dive potential. If VGSGods are going to make it to the late game, it will not be easy.
You talked about the dive potential. Well, Jormungandr, one of the best divers out there with the World Serpent. Even the cavalry charge from the Guan, hard to knock him off that horse when you don't really have the walls to block his path.
They doubled down on the sustain with this Guan Yu, though. That has me doing the meme of the blinking guy here. I was just a bit surprised by it. Anti-heal obviously going to become a necessity now for MV3. I was wondering if this is egregious enough to where we might see a late Opwash pick or something like that to try and handle all this healing. Yeah,
I agree with you there, but I think the Thoth last pick makes some sense if you're going to be building into the Divine Ruin.
Yes.
You can easily apply those anti-healing stacks with the Hieroglyphic Assault.
Yes, Thoth should be able to keep that Divine Ruin quite easily applied here this game. MV3, I think they've got some good tools for applying that anti-heal, but as I said, if VGSGods make it late, it's hard to imagine that they drop this game, but we'll find out. Let's get it down to Hindu and aggro.
Thanks so much, Finch and Anatoly. And yes, into game 2 we go to find out if VGSGods can answer back to, well, they got off to a great start in game 1, but they just couldn't really muster the troops, so to speak, and finding objectives, and it gave MV3 a window back in.
And they took it, and they found the victory. Now their draft, I think, is pretty solid. They've got good early game, good mid game, good late game. But as they said on the desk, I mean, the late game potential for Marky Sparky on this hill is going to be difficult to deal with. But I love the Bacchus with the innate anti-heal for Mighty here. And if VGSGods want to go with the same strategy of try and kill the support, Bacchus is the best to pick against it. It's the tankiest character in the game.
Well, Haki as well, they're going to pressure into the jungle instead because Alp started over on the duo side. Won't invade the purple. Instead, they're going to head for the red buff. A little bit of a danger situation here if they recognize it from mid lane here. If Ecliptix comes over to check, he may have found out, but instead they were doing left Harpies, and that's left Haki alone. Haki now surrounded by 4 as the duo lane joins in. Floppy's available in a second from Alb, and he might be able to continue the chase, and I think that's why they're doing it. Alb does have to land this flop, though, and does just that. First blood the way of MV3, but it does give Marky a bit of free farm in that duo lane.
I mean, clearly someone wanted to go to red. It was Ecliptix. Haki didn't get the memo.
My accent just came through real strong there. I'm not sure what it was. I'm like, fam. I'm like, where did that accent come from? I think it was more American than anything. Oh, pressure in the left-hand side and mid lane at the same time as Ecliptix forced to beads. And Beast is back to try and defend against Marky, but Marky is a hell, so you know he's got a point in his first ability and a point in his third ability, which means he'll be sustaining back up once more. And pressure in mid again as Drizzle now wrapping around the back, and Rayo's overextended. Belch for days from Alb, good flop too, but Drizzle with the beads will duke it out for the most part. Big old shield and shell too, I think, is what came through there. So still Rayo alive and still wants to dance with Drizzle, which I think is a little bit risky. Went for the stun. Couldn't find it this time.
Man, Hosiel just doesn't go on the right targets there. I mean, Mighty gets a great double stun, double knock-up. And I know Ecliptix didn't have beads, but he was full HP. Both Drizzle and Haki took a little bit of damage on that chase. I think if Hosiel goes on those 2 targets that Mighty's hitting, that might have been 2 more in MV3's pocket.
Marky's still pressuring here, but low on mana. Has to be pretty careful about that. Saw him pop up another potion too. Sure, he's got the Mage's Blessing online and will give him some regen. That's always the awkwardness of playing Hell. If you spam too much, you will be out of mana. Do you normally see mana builds come into play with her a lot, or is it more about saving the abilities?
No, I think it is really leading into the mana department. I think Book of Thoth into Breastplate of Valor is a very strong build path. It doesn't make you lose too much damage because of the Book of Thoth mana conversion to power. And Book of Thoth and Breastplate does have a lot of that mana.
Still hanging around. The only problem with that, though, I do see if you go for a Breastplate is, well, there's 3 magical you're going to be dealing with more often than anybody else. Sure, Ravana and Bellona will pay attention, but you've got a Thoth and an Olorun and a Bacchus that are going to be your primary focal points of damage sources against you.
It just gets you to full CDR right away with the Mage's Blessing and the cooldown boots, and Hosiel and Jox are going to be 2 dudes who are hitting you a lot.
Lotus Crown
in
maybe?
This match. Lotus Crown's great. I think that you can certainly go for that. That gives you innate physical protection, but the proc gives you both magical and physical protection. That could be super good here for Marky. Hell is one of those characters, a lot like Aphrodite, where you need to strike the balance of, well, I need enough power to make my healing do
worthwhile,
something.
yeah.
And, but I need enough protection that I don't insta-die. It's a hard balance to find.
And sometimes that's where you start to falter, where one of them doesn't work out as well. Ray going to dash into the jungle here, look for a stun over the wall. And they don't just think he was off the mark from Drizzle, as Drizzle still being pressured on this Guan Yu by the Raven. That's a matchup that could go either way, in my opinion, Raven versus Guan. But definitely a small advantage for Raven here as the pressure's onto Haki again. The Belch will stun him, but he shells early on just to give him a bit more time. Overhead kick's good, however, and that'll be a kill. However, crashing in is a World Serpent from Bevy Monster, looking to turn this one around and get a body block in the way. However, it's not going to stop Rayo from getting the kill as Jose blinks away. The pressure's all on Alb here. He's going to stun a target. Round the back comes Jox now once again on the Bellona. No ultimate for this Jormungandr to get away. They should be looking for the play here, and they will. Eagles Rally connects. Follow-up damage from Rayo's not as good as his ult play, I'll tell you that. 3 shots off the mark, even with a wider cone to connect. Rayo going to lazy back, and yeah, he's going to get away. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's not.
Are you
kidding me? That's not what we wanted to do.
Unfortunate. Alb's still going to survive for the time being, though. Jumps back towards the middle area. No mana. Drizzle wants to give chase, leaving his speed. Back Harpies, left Harpies. That's just risky, boys.
Who needs farm? Not me. I need those kills, and Hosiel finishes what Drizzle starts on those mid Harpies.
And that's the worst point of that, right? You end up chasing through the jungle, don't find a kill, and you also lose farm because of it, and also lose the level lead. You can see Jose still has a 2-level lead now.
Yeah, it's not a good spot for Drizzle for sure. He's down a full level at this point, and pretty far in the gold department as well, though it seems like Hoseo got a back off more recently than Drizzle. Don't know if Drizzle has full boots done, but I know he doesn't have them on the map right now, whereas Hoseo does and has a great opportunity to find a kill basically wherever he wants. Ravana ultimate, pretty good at getting the kills.
Obviously as well, this is all PlayStation here today. Well, at least this morning's European set of the PlayStation League over on the console side. Crossplay is on its way for you Sony boys out there. Soon enough, we'll get to see all the sticks under one roof. I really want to see where that comes out, you know? I'm excited.
Me too. The ranked scene is going to be a lot of fun.
There's a lot, you know what I love about it is because there's all this swag talk of ours better than theirs, and I think it's going to be pretty even.
First of all,
here we go.
The Xbox controller is objective.
It depends what you're playing. I've already had that argument with you. I think for FPS and maybe for Smite it might be. Sure.
It is.
I'll go that way. However, for sports games, definitely Sony.
Sure.
Eclipse.
I'll buy that.
Pressured, beats, rooted under the side from Jose. Jose took tower shots he didn't need to. And Ryan lost his mind with the ultimate from Rayo.
Where did it go? ECLPTX was rooted, Graham. Where did the ultimate go?
Oh, ultimate from Haki just off the mark, and ECLPTX still under pressure. Round the back comes Al with a big old meat stick, and he gets himself a double kill. That's the time to pick a Bacchus and make it worthwhile. Been involved in all 5 kills, as has Jose. Actually, Jose's been involved in all 6 kills as he died himself.
Easy work there for Jose.
Where did that all go, by the way? Because I didn't see it either. Was it just a miss?
So Rayo was lining it up. ECLPTX was ready to get just flattened, and then Drizzle came in on the cavalry charge, and Rayo turned to the noise and ulted the full health Guan Yu instead of the rooted AMC.
Oh, tail end of that didn't really connect, but a good flop from Alba again. He's playing well today on this Bacchus.
Yes.
In this second game, he's really started to push this through for his team and be in the right spot at the right time. Now Marky down, who was the, well, overall leader for VGSGods in terms of farm up until that point, I'd say. Now with that trip back to base, he's going to lose a whole wave to the tower, and no one's really there to soak it up, unfortunately.
Look, I mean, VGSGods, the team that was favored coming into this, I think, I mean, just standings alone certainly tells that story, but
3-3, right? They were just 1 game off the top 2, but then they still had catch up. If they lose this, it's over, right?
They're in trouble
with how it's looking.
They are in trouble for sure. But MV3, I mean, clearly some roster changes going on and that kind of stuff, as is per usual towards the bottom end. But so far, Graham, just based on the eye test, I'd say that the 2 best players on the field so far today are doing left side mid harpies right now. It's been Mighty and RayoMid.
Ultimate over the wall from Rayo. And as you say, that's a couple of ults in a row. I like the idea, though, with that one, trying to strip away the red buff with a cheeky shot over the wall, put some pressure on, and frustrate VGSGods even more. That belch will frustrate a couple of people, including Haki here, who's under pressure. Flop him, however, was not as good. Jose going to up down, though, with the ultimate for pressure, and Drizzle on the cavalry charge is causing so many problems. Gets a good kill for himself. Because of Jose's mistake there, Alb going to get a good stun. Anti-heal, remember, which is very, very good against the double healers that VGSGods have. And Rayo with the follow-up damage is there. It's just not enough to bring down that Guan Yu. It gave Eclipse a window to get the pressure on, but a big old shell again from Alb is allowing them to pressure on forward.
Oh, here comes JhoX over the wall. Disarm gets it with the Scourge. Great rotation in from JhoX on a fight that had been going on for quite some time.
If Bevy called that one, that's the fault of VGSGods more than anything else for still sticking around.
Yep.
But if he didn't call it, it's definitely on the solo laner.
Well, it's even if he does call it, you can do a better job of holding the left-hand wall in that instance. I mean, you have to be keeping aware, spatially aware of where anyone could be coming from. You know, OhMyJhox Beast is all the way underneath this tower. You can see that on the mini-map. So you can hold left side wall and be very safe, whereas JhoX is always capable of getting up and over that wall and hitting you. If ECLPTX is really hugging the left side, maybe he still gets hit by the Scourge, but I doubt it.
I think the tower is also a bit of a bait trap most of the time. A lot of people like to dance around it, knowing it can block some shots, potentially take some autos for them, but instead get themselves in a worse spot because of it. Blue buff stripped away from VGS in the jungle there by Jose on this Ravana. He's been involved in a lot of this game so far too, and that's what you're kind of looking for. That's what the Erlang last game, I didn't feel like he had the same impact that I'm seeing out of this time around on the Ravana.
Sure. I mean, yeah, he fell behind a lot earlier in game 1, but I agree he's definitely gotten his hands dirty in this game. Maybe a little bit too dirty with that last up-down. Probably should use it to get away, but that's all right. We learn.
Teleport to mid lane coming out from Berry. This means we're going to see a fight for VGSGods. This is MV3 going into the jungle, and Drizzle, they're going to really punish Rayo for standing around, charging the ultimate. Round the corner comes Berry now, looking to cut off the troops of disengaging. It's Beast under pressure now. He's got no real escape other than a bit of a heal for himself. Gold Fury now pulled instead. Oracle's being looked at the same time. VGSGods feeling very confident about this situation.
I think they should, but Jox is on the way, and so that means that they have to slow it down a little bit. Looks like they're going to try and pick Beast, and that's a good idea. No ultimate for him, and literal 5 people in his lane.
Yep. Not much you can really do. It's a shame the rest of the team couldn't do much elsewhere on the map. They were worried about the buffs being invaded, I think, because purple and red had just come up. Jox in the mid lane, though. Should be able to at least pressure to the tier 1, but you can already see ECLPTX is on their way back towards that middle area there. Still the defense going on around this purple buff, and Al bit off more than he can chew. Has to leap away. Dashing from Drizzle's good. Jose forcible defensively. Rayo over the wall trying to pull out some poke, but he's going to be careful about his positioning himself. Being caught off once or twice here in awkward spots.
No doubt. I mean, that is what this Guan Yu pick is designed to do for Drizzle. As soon as RayoMid uses that dash, you just hop on the horse. No way he can get away from you at that point, and that's exactly what happened on that red buff engage. Good teleport in from Bevy Monster. Looked a little bit weird, but clearly VGSGods were willing to invest a lot to defend that red buff, and it worked out for him.
It just wasn't that good for VGSGods if you look at it in terms of what they got out of that for that teleport over.
Agreed. I mean, it
looked like a goal for you.
They don't get a whole lot, but they get a little bit instead of losing something, right? So it's that big swing of, well, we didn't get a whole lot, but we would have lost it most likely. I agree that they could have done a much better job at invading the red and the purple. The fact that you get neither of those and you have all 5 people there, and instead you chase a kill is definitely not ideal. They definitely should have gotten more, and I think the idea is sound. The execution was just a little bit off.
Thinking that the spot where they managed to pick Beast on that left-hand side, they could have done that with just 3 members and had the other 2 looking at buffs and zoning away, maybe finding another opportunity.
Agreed.
Red buff going to go down for VGSGods here as well, though, giving over to ECLPTX more than likely, who's only level 9 in the mid lane at the moment, as is Rayo. Alb was a little bit far forward because the rest of his team were busy at the Pyromancer, at least getting some global gold and continuing their lead extension.
I love it. I mean, you know that MV3 has that red buff timer, so as VGSGods, you need to be there in force to try and get it.
Drizzle going to use the cavalry charge onto Jose, and he turns his attention to Rayo, and the knockup is good as well from Bevy. Just the CC chain too much with no beads for Rayo to handle. Won't be able to look for the red buff just yet, but with the World Serpent pushing back MV3, he might just be able to strip it away. VGS going to head over towards the Gold Fury now. Alb coming in from mid lane, left-hand side, Jose looking into 2. Jose does have his ultimate up on the Ravana, and the flops from Bacchus can cause problems.
Intoxicate's up, and he goes. Intoxicate takes it.
Old school.
That's been happening since the very dawn of competitive Smite.
The only difference is now there was no hand of the gods to secure it, so you got to use that Intoxicate. Jose with the overhead kick and the ult away. Cataclysm at the end from Hacky just couldn't find anything, and now it's Beast on his own, trapped in a world of hurt because they were all after Jose, and then they went, well, he's out, and they all turned towards the Olorun. And Olorun's like, well, oh no, this is not going to end well. VGSGods upset about the Gold Fury steal. They're trying to answer back with a tier 1.
Looks like they should be able to get this. I mean, RayoMid's here, but no, beads are up for him alongside the ultimate, but
too many bases
only level
at the same
10.
time. They're not going to get it, I don't think. Too many even base. They were trying to base all at the same time. You saw that Bevy wanted to go back. They thought they had the damage. They didn't have the minions. Drizzle with the ult. Celebration ride for the big victory of going back to 7-7 in the kill deficits. Gold, however, is definitely still on MV3's favor. They did get a pyro a few moments ago, and just after that, Alb did steal away that Gold Fury.
That's the moment in comms where you go, hey, I'm gonna ult if he dashes, and your teammate right before he dashes goes, no, and then he dashes, and you get up on the horse, and you still hear, no, we're backing up.
It's the other end of, oh, you won't, and then you do, right?
Yeah, I think it was likely a little bit more of, I think this is a good idea, and the rest of the team calling it off, but hey man, if they're gonna,
that was all in VGS, by the way, right?
Yeah, of course. You can't end up backing down from a challenge in that case. Never ever.
Fight in the jungle, well, fight on the right-hand side, whereas Bevy is a little bit overextended here. She needs to ult early here. I think it's a waste of damage there that he took. He didn't need to stick as much as he did, surrounded by 3, sure. Waste a bit of their time. But ult early, and you don't have to necessarily take a trip back to base. You does have health potions ticking, however, but it won't be enough to keep him in lane. That could be a bit of a chance for some tier 1 pressure there for Jox if he's got a couple of minions left. Actually, funny enough, Bevy's going to hang around to make sure he doesn't lose those minions, which I like the idea of.
May as well at that point, as Drizzle going to try and invade this red. Unsuccessful. RayoMid able to secure it alongside Seal.
Nothing worse than trying to play a Geb against a Bacchus sometimes. Don't forget the belch prevents you being knocked up. Good shot over the wall from Rayo with the ultimate there. And another ultimate comes into play from Jose Y9. Now Drizzle trying to dash in and turn it around with a cavalry charge. Good shell coming out from Alpha 2. Just give his big jungler a little bit more protection. Now around the corner comes Jox as Drizzle has bit off more than he can chew. Tries to juke him around with the dashes, but are still surrounded by multiple targets. It's just going to be a slower end. And now Sparky was trying to help him out. Gets hit by the Eagles. Rally, forced him, beads. Unfortunate turn of events for VGSGods.
Now Bevy Monster, remember, no ultimate for him, but he has purification beads to save his own life. I am a fan of Yorm with a defensive relic. I think you really do either need beads or Aegis the majority of the time, because you are just so easy to kill if you don't have your ult.
Definitely. That passive is great, but it also really injures yourself at the same time. Now Beast taking on a trade with Sparky. Beast feeling confident. He's got a level lead at the moment, pushing Marky in the pit. Marky can't thread the needle with the abilities, and now he's under pressure. Don't forget, Jose was already on the way, first of all, funny enough, outside of everybody else. And so Beast brings him down.
No Aegis usage there by Marky Sparky. He decides to hold on to it. Olorun's a character that's kind of hard to Aegis against, I think, because a lot of his damage is pretty spread out. Yeah, it's basic attacks, and you don't really like it Aegising basics. I think if Hacky was a little bit closer, we see Marky use the relic in that case, but I actually don't really hate him holding on to it. I mean, you're in such a bad spot. Maybe if instead of juking into purple, he straight lines out and goes towards tier 2 and uses the Aegis that way, he survives. But once you've committed to getting inside this purple cave, you're basically just delaying the inevitable, and you don't want to use the Aegis in those instances.
Everywhere I look at this game now, I just see Al belching on people, forcing them to disengage, use beads, or turn around and run away.
He's played really well.
Yeah, he really has. He's been involved in 9 of the kills so far with how it's gone down. Next Fury is coming up, however. See what happens with this. It is a primal, so it does make an impact on the map as the game goes on. I think it's probably the most impactful in the long run. Sure, instant gold is instant gratification. As the game goes on, it can cause more problems. Into the World Serpent goes Bevy as he was pressured in. He had support from Drizzle, but Drizzle, well, it was more like a drip at that point in time. I guess a Drizzle's worse than drip, right? No.
Yeah, it's not as good as it. Yeah, drip is worse for sure.
Well, Marky's under pressure as well. Gets a good cataclysm out from Hacky and a good knock-up after the fact appeal, but it left ECLPTX alone for RayoMid to find a pick there. 12-7, and the tier 1 tower now under threat for MV3 as Jox chases Marky away from the action. The beatdown continues. The sustain is good, but it's not good enough to stop Jox at this moment, who's got a mystical mail just continuing to tick.
Jox able to zone even without a whole lot of magical defense, just based on levels alone. That ends up getting a tier 2 tower for MV3 in that engagement. Drizzle tried to do the exact same strat, which is just as soon as we see RayoMid dash, we hop up on the cavalry charge, but just too far underneath his own tower. Good protection there from all of MV3. And VGSGods want extended engagements with this healing. They want these fights to go as long as possible, and they just aren't lasting long enough at this point. MV3 is just killing people too quickly.
I feel like they're splitting the difference too much, VGS, as well. The back line and front line is just too far apart to make use of the health as much as they like to. And the Guan U, to be fair. Pyromancer going to go down, though, from VGS. You asked for a fire giant there, though.
Absolutely.
Was there a window for that?
I think so. I mean, only Joseil's on that side of the map, and yes, it's risky, but you're down 8K. I mean, you've got to take risks. You don't win games by being down this much by playing conservatively. You need to take some risks, MV3. You need to make some mistakes, and you need to play really well. And I think that those are the moments where you had your whole team there, go for it. Because as it stands, the trajectory of this game is that you're going to lose. So what's the worst thing that happens if you lose fire? You lose faster?
Flop on Drizzle at the tail end as well of the damage. Drizzle has to use the orbit defensively and jukes out Beast. Jukes out Rayo at the end there from the final Judgment ultimate. But now with that ult being down for Drizzle, it makes it a bit trickier for VGSGods to maybe defend this fire giant.
And already a good amount of CDR for RayoMid, picking up the new and potentially improved Shaman's Ring with that 10% CDR, so he's got 30%.
Fire Giant started up. Bevy recognizing something could be up here, sees them all in the pit, is going to try and make a contest. World Serpent is available. His presence alone is trying to force them back, but all the while, it's Jose and Jox going to the backline, removing the MC. Bevy Monster didn't even get his ultimate off. He just died there in the Fire Giant pit. Great bludgeon from Jox, and the Mystical Male Ticks will be enough with a basic to bring him down. And the laughters coming through from MV3 as they realize they have this game in the bag. Now that they've got the Fire Giant on 4 members, a tier 1 and tier 2 on the right hand side, it could be looked at. They're going to chase the kill on Hacky. Not the wisest of people to try and pick at that stage. Rayo's still going to go for it. And a shield comes out as well, so Rayo's going to take a free poke for no reason.
Still, MV3 get to do stuff like that all they want for right now because they are able to dismantle VGSGods on that backline dive. Just so much magical damage, and look at the build from Drizzle. No magical defense, no Chile, no runic shield. I mean, you need Magic D as, yo, Rayo, what's up?
Trying to go
His
for
dash
solo
is down.
He's a little bit overconfident. This is kind of an Ull player. You can tell people that play Ull and play like this, I'm like, okay, you're going to do it on the more gods. Sure, you've got to lead, but this is where you throw games.
Yeah. Or you do that to someone.
Sure, you look flashy, but it's still risky.
It
I
is.
just don't see the risk reward for that. Sure, you got another kill, right? Like, come on.
Agreed. And ECLPTX had relics, so if he just pressed his buttons, then he lives.
It's always the frustration when you see players that have the caliber, the skill to play, and then just do silly things that just aren't really needed. It looks flashy, but it's not going to help out in the long run.
No, doesn't do a whole lot for you.
But it does get you to 3, 2, and 10. Top of the player damage with 16,500, closest to 17. About 6,000 difference, really, between him and the next highest player, which is Marky Sparky on that hell.
Just nowhere near enough magical defense from VGSGods. I mean, Baby Monster has a Breastplate of Valor and a Stone of Binding. No Magic D, as I highlighted, for Drizzle. No dedicated Magic D for hacking, and now he's building into a Sovereignty. I just don't think that VGSGods are doing a good enough job at recognizing what the problem is that MV3 is throwing at them.
Beast going to come around the corner. Marky's trying to back here. Should be able to get away just in time. A little bit too close for comfort, and Beast is upset. You can see the pings going down there. He had a window and missed it.
Little Robin clap alongside him. That was
Good
cute.
job for the stop at the back. It's a bit tricky though, I guess, on Olorun because he can't shoot over the walls as effectively, I guess.
Yeah, you have to use the 2 and then...
Oh, Hacky a little bit too far forward and under pressure now. Gets a cactus buff, but still trapped inside the field. Everybody using every ultimate on him too, so the Geb is now down. Still Rayo going in for the kill on Eclipse at the backside. He will get the kill, but goes down to Drizzle in tow for his indiscretions of overextending. Still though, Jox marching on, trying to keep Drizzle busy. Focuses on the middle Phoenix from MV3 elsewhere. But they don't really have too much damage. It's really Beast to bring that one in. Now Jose with the up down though will connect with Bevy Monster, and he'll take a trip back to the fountain. Left hand Phoenix could be next on the cards.
Drizzle gonna blink in as Beast has been left behind, but still level 19, doing plenty of damage. Drizzle realizing maybe not his best engagement.
I like the comp from VGSGods for the most part. I just think they split up too much in the engagement. They weren't on the same page, and it came back to haunt them. MV3 are going to take VGSGods down 2-0, barring some craziness at the Titan.
They are kind of low, but the AMC's only level... Well, he just got 2 levels.
They can't do it.
From that kill. They can't do it. You're right, not enough minions. Well, now they've got minions coming in.
9 seconds on Bevy, 7 seconds on Bevy.
Beast just reset the Titan.
Just to heal it up again. Remember, when you reset the Titan, it gives it more healing, but they still have enough here. Nope.
No.
All right.
Maybe if they wouldn't have reset the Titan.
Maybe if Rayo didn't dash in for a kill again, but you know, up, down, coming in from Bevy, and that's a real punish. Come on, VG. I want VGS to win this now.
They might.
I definitely.
They've got a great late game comp.
I don't root for teams, right? But I will root for people to win when people are being silly. And MV3 are doing just that right now, so giving VGS a chance. Fire Giant, up in a minute's time, they could set up for this. They could go to the Fury too. Ray will at least strip away the red buff on this left-hand side and extend this series a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that VGSGods could absolutely win this game. 11K in 23 minutes is a lot, but you've already got 2 members on the enemy side who aren't benefiting from any more XP gain, 2 level 20s. RayoMid is now a free kill on this left-hand side if they realize his dash is down, but take the guarantee, get the Oni Fury, I think that's totally fine as well.
And Oni Fury here is actually going to be useful because they can head up to the fire.
Yeah, exactly. It pushes out the enemy fire minions. It's a good spot all of a sudden for VGSGods. Not a good spot, but not a bad one either.
That's where they were a few moments ago.
Yes, where they should have been talking about how they lost this game.
Well, now they're still in it. They're going to get that Fury and then head over towards the Fire Giant, I expect. Need a couple of wards over there. Not many in the inventories right now for this stage of the game. People still, guess, working towards itemization. You can see VGSGods are a little bit further behind on that, just because that 6-item slot is a little bit more empty than that of the MV3 roster.
That's where the lead is really scary. XP not super scary anymore. I mean, ECLPTX got 2 levels for each of the kills he got, I think, while defending that mid Phoenix, or defending his Titan, not even the mid Phoenix. Marky Sparky needs to farm pretty desperately, but you're already at the point as hell where you've got 4 complete items and it's all power, so you're doing a lot of healing. It's already top of the player damage charts for his team. I mean, if I'm VGSGods, I'm definitely trying to defend on this Fire Giant, no doubt.
Bit surprised that they didn't go over there and ward up, actually. Instead, they ended up staying pretty far back after getting the Oni, so now they're going to be on the defense again around this next Fire Giant. No real wall coverage, as I said, to speak of, so MV3 going to start it up. Luckily enough, though, they do have Bevy Monster on the Jormungandr, so we can see over the walls to see the Fire Giant was pulled, but it's perfectly healthy right now. This is more of a bait tactic coming into play from MV3, and Bevy kind of took it there, up, down, out of the lurk to get himself back towards safety. Gets stunned, gets some good poke from Ray.
But no use of the ultimate, which is very good. You're A-okay at this point. I mean, great shield from Hacky and a really good job by VGSGods to not overcommit. And this is the healing. I mean, no need to use your teleport and go back to base or anything like that. Bevy Monster can stick around.
Oni Hunter minions, I say Oni Fury minions, not Hunter minions. Getting confused, Oni Hunter minions on the left-hand side will take down the tier 1 tower and continue to pressure for a tier 2 as Bevy gets aggressive on Ray. But Bevy's taking more damage than bargained for. He ate the whole combo, a beast up heal there. But he will just about survive with the World Serpent. He has to recall, does have teleport available, however, to get back in action if there's a ward for him to go to.
Mid Phoenix, look at this, a big fire wave coming down mid. But this is perfect. Bevy Monster's backing right now anyways. Let him clear this out and then teleport in.
Okay, Fire Giant at half health. Drizzle going to lead the charge with the cavalry in tow. Stuns out Jose. Good knock up on the fire wall too to do good damage to Alb and Jose. Backside, Jock's going to deal with the damage dealers if he can. MV3 get the Fire Giant. Jose takes down Drizzle, and now the fight is underway. Remember, there's no sign of Bevy just yet. Rally here, says Jox, with the Eagles rally into play. Marky Sparky's dealing with 2 on his own on the left-hand side. He goes down to Almighty, and Hacky was trying to roll out towards the Jormungandr. He won't do much. We're back almost in the spot where it's going to be the AMC versus the whole roster of MV for round 2.
Well, maybe ECLPTX can finish off RayoMid on the right, but just can't quite close the gap despite the low HP pool for
How many
the
kills?
Thoth.
I'm predicting 2.
2 for AMC?
No, 1. I think Ray's
0.
going to
Ray's
going to dash it and die.
Probably.
I can see it.
Yeah, I
He's
can see
got no
that
mana
too. But someone else will be taking Titan by that point. I'm predicting 0.
Oni down, flopping from Alb off the mark. Ray is in the pit. I'm watching him closely because I want him to die just for the sake of me being right. Maybe Beast, though, will be able to find it. A lot of low health bars as Alb goes in. Oh, Beast getting low too. Couple, but no kills this time for ECLPTX. MV3 win the game.
I mean, MV3 starting off at the bottom of the standings, but overall played better today. Like I said, I just thought that Rayo and Mighty just played better than anybody else on the field today.
That just looked like a run game in a certain circumstance for me when you get a lead and you just don't close out.
Yep.
And then you let the other team come back in and it causes you problems. Competitive play, you're going to have bigger issues going forward.
Yes. I mean, look, RayoMid played really well today. Mechanically was incredibly solid in the mid lane. Decision making still needs a little bit of work, clearly. I mean, but those are the things what the PS4 League and what the Xbox League, what the SPL are for. I mean, it's improving your decision making, understanding what you can and can't get away with. He played great mechanically, and as he gets more and more accustomed to these high-end plays, even if he is a player who's played a lot just under a different name, you can end up learning quite a bit over the course of time.
See, the stats really showed MV3 working as a unit there for the most part. A lot of shared kills and assists in that one. Top damage for that game will be Beast. Funny enough, I think it was going to be Rayo at one point, but a couple of deaths and a couple of craziness shenanigans from him really ended up hurting.
Late game Olorun, man. He does pretty well.
MV3 will take it down, which is interesting because they were 1-5 coming into this, whereas VGS were 3-3. The battle at the bottom is now there, and honestly, VGS took the scalp.
Yeah, VGS looked good. I mean, a 2-0 and a convincing one at that. That should have been a 23 or 21-minute game too. It took a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, a win is a win.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at the Xbox Console League of Europe. Stay tuned for that. We'll be back after the break.